I hope everyone had a wonderful spring break. We are back at it. So last week, or the week before spring break, I should say, we looked at the very first phylum of marine invertebrates, which is that phylum Porifera, which includes our sea sponges. And if you remember, these organisms were organized at the cellular level. They were asymmetrical organisms, and very simple animals at that. So they still filtered the water through. They still basically hunted for food. They're non-photosynthetic. But now we're looking at the next stage up, which is our phylum Cnidaria. And if you notice in the picture, phylum Cnidaria, and the C is silent, so Cnidarians, encompass our jellyfish, our sea anemones, and our corals. I am going to link this particular video because it is an awesome documentary on the secret world of jellyfish. It is totally optional, up to you if you want to watch that, but I will say it is a phenomenal way to take a brain break and just kind of, it just encompasses all of the wonderful beauty of these very simple organisms. All right, so the first thing we're going to do in your notebook on page 54 is to actually copy down the body structure notes, and then we're going to continue that set of notes with two diagrams showing the main two basic forms of the phylum Cnidaria. So the very first one we're going to look at, just some basic general information. These Cnidarians are organized at the tissue level. So we said phylum Porifera was organized at the cellular level. They were just composed of different types of cells all working together. Cnidarians are organized at the tissue level, so they have specialized cells that then build specialized tissues, and these tissues all serve a particular function. However, they do not have organs, they don't have organ systems, yet they are considered to be a full organism, which is really cool if you think about it. All right, so these Cnidarians have radial symmetry. So if you remember back, this radial symmetry is the kind that you have a central axis. You can divide that organism symmetrically all the way out, kind of like a pizza or a pie. You can tell I'm a little bit hungry whenever I talk about radial symmetry because I always compare it to food. All right, so these particular Cnidarians occur in two basic body forms. We have the polyp, which is a sac-like attached stage. Basically, when you think of polyp, you need to think the mouth and the tentacles are oriented upwards. This would be something like a sea anemone. So if you hold your hand with your palm up and kind of wiggle your fingers around, that's what a polyp looks like. So the mouth and the tentacles are oriented upwards. The other type of basic body form of a Cnidarian is a medusa. And I always like to remember this by kind of making an M with your fingers and pointing it down. So medusa is like our jellyfish, and these are upside down polyps that can actually swim. So our polyp is the attached stage. It's attached at a substrate on a surface with the mouth and the tentacles facing upwards, and then the medusa is the jellyfish form where your polyp is basically upside down and it can swim. All right, we are going to draw these in just a second, but I do want to show you these two main body forms. So notice the polyp, our mouth and tentacles are facing upwards. It is attached. These would be things like sea anemones and corals. And then our medusa, like a jellyfish, has our mouth and our tentacles facing downwards, like a jellyfish. All right, so a few different things about our body structure. We've got the oral surface, which self-explanatorily means the mouth side. The uboral surface would be the opposite to the mouth side, and that would be basically where the mouth is not. All right, our tentacles are these slender extensions that are actually used for capturing food. So these tentacles are not helping these organisms swim. They are basically solely there to help them to capture food. And on each of these tentacles throughout our entire Cnidarian phylum, they have these particular stinging structures called nematocysts. All right, we know when we think of jellyfish, we think automatically, oh yeah, jellyfish sting. Okay, and these nematocysts are actually what is doing that. All right, so these stinging structures inside the tentacles are referred to as nematocysts. All right, and then we have the mesoglia, which is actually the jelly that fills up the body. Meso, if the root word meso means middle, and then glia just means kind of a gelatinous substance. So when we think of the mesoglia, just think of that gelatinous substance that fills up that particular Cnidaria. All right, so we've got our mesoglia, which is all on the inside. You can notice in this particular picture, it is represented by kind of this light purple color. Our arboreal surface would be the top part of this particular organism. This particular medusa has its arboreal surface on the top. Its oral surface would be where its mouth is, and then those tentacles with the nematocysts on them. And here's a really cool picture. Just kind of shows you what a nematocyst looks like. So this is the cell itself, and then when it is discharged, meaning when it is actually going through the stinging process, it kind of shoots this little barb out, and that's what causes the sting of a cnidarian.